coming to ya on the Talk Like a Pirate Day over here in Altai, Mongolia. We are coming along with the 89th edition of ESL Open Cup Asia Division. I be your captain speaking, Yaku of Zaku, and with me today is my other captain, El Chico que se ducha para tratra Flores, like _VIP, coming down in Brisbane.
That was meant to be Aussie?
No, that was pirate. It's Pirate Day.
It's close enough. It's Chilean National Independence Day.
Yeah. They were pirates.
What's up, Yaku? Welcome back to ESL Open Cup Asia, our second cast of the day. And mate, one of our boys, he's right here.
Yeah, that he is. I'm honestly very surprised he still has the physical endurance to do this after, you know, what happened yesterday, and also the fact that he just got vaccinated today. But regardless, he is over here on Blackburn LE. We're at the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. The red Zerg player coming out from the land of Brisbane, the king of Brisbane. He is, of course, going to be representing us, our very own CranKy Ducklings. He is going to make his opponents go, uh-oh, Oreo.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Taiwanese Protoss player. He is blue, representing Good Game Gaming. GGG. It is nice. Nice.
Nice. Good Game Gaming, one of the few Chinese teams that actually have in-game tags, I'm now noticing.
Yeah, they've got an in-game tag. They don't have a logo. But yeah, they're halfway there.
I feel like that's black. Yeah, I feel like that's just Blackburn though.
It's better than most of the Korean teams.
True. Yeah. Looking at you, Dragon Phoenix Gaming.
God damn it. And, ooh, okay, so we have a very interesting opener here, and I also want to touch on what you said, right? Oreo, he was playing in ANZ Champs last night, and he just got vaccinated this morning, so I do hope that his arm is okay. Like, that's probably like the biggest side effect of it, is that your arm may hurt afterwards. I know that I really struggled to observe like the day of and the day after. It was rough.
Just
but
have an orange, you know?
Yeah, just have an orange forehead. But we'll see how this goes. We haven't seen too much of Oreo's ZvP. We've seen him go up against Starduck, but of course Nice is a very different kind of Protoss player.
Yeah, they both do have a sort of disposition towards Stargate styles, but very different kinds of compositions, right?
Yeah.
Nice, he will throw out his oracles if you give him the opportunity. Starduck, more than happy to just lay back and wait till he gets that fleet beacon.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we'll see what kind of style Nice will go for here in this game, especially because I'm pleasantly surprised we are on a Blackburn. You know, because of the vetoes, we are going to be in one of the more stranger, more out of the norm maps. We have seen that the goal base was not taken, but Oreo took a very aggressive natural, and I imagine part of that is going to play into an eventual push.
That's the one thing keeping me from being disappointed that he didn't grab the gold immediately. He did take a very expensive, aggressive natural, as you were saying. He wants to get across the map as quickly as he can. Now, Nice, he does get a very good scout off. He knows that the third base is being taken in the natural location. Oreo is going to be throwing something his way very, very soon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit unfortunate that Oreo lost so many drones as well. Like, damn, 4 drones for those 2 adepts. That was a lot of damage. He is working on that creep thread though. Like, again, the highway is already halfway across the map.
Indeed, it is. So, even though Nice may be able to see this coming, it won't really matter if he doesn't have enough time to prepare and defend against it.
Exactly. And I'm really curious to see if Oreo throws down a Roach Warren. Like, personally, I was expecting a Roach Ravager push, or a Roach, Queen push from the very beginning of the game, but we still don't see a Roach Warren, just drones, just Queens.
Yeah, we don't see Roach Warren, we don't see any form of tech, actually. He's still staying conservative on his gases, hasn't grabbed a lair yet, so... Yeah, this is just an extremely greedy opening, but in a very aggressive posture.
Yeah, and I personally love this. Meanwhile, ooh, the stasis ward, the stats ward is coming in, and he is only able to get one drone.
Such a quick reaction coming out from Oreo. That's the effects of the vaccine, people.
Those are the effects. And right now, what he's waiting for before he goes for any kind of aggression, I'm sure, is that Oreo is waiting for the third base. Because honestly, time and time again, you know, even players like Starduck, they get their third nexuses relatively quickly. But still, Nice is being very conservative, staying on 2 bases for quite a bit longer.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward balancing act here for the Protoss player. You don't want to delay a third base for too long, because then you're putting yourself behind, but you get it too early, and, well, you're just giving yourself a vulnerability.
That you are, especially on a map like Blackburn. Finally, a third base is on the way, and we see that, like we were speculating earlier, Nice is committing to that Stargate play, with that second Stargate finishing up just in time. We have a Forge, and sure, you can argue that, hey, it's going to be for upgrades. Nah, mate, it's going to be for cannons. God.
You don't get a Forge, you get upgrades when you're only on these few amount of gateways. But to be fair, getting a Forge this early on, I mean, you can get some shield upgrades, I guess.
You could.
I guess.
Oh, and I love this. So, again, Oreo, he's saturated on 3 bases. I'm sure he wants to get a 4th at some point, but he opts to throw down a Hydra Den once his lair is done. So he's going to be going for a Hydra push.
Yeah, some Ling Bane as well, just in case Nice decides to bamboozle him and go for more of a gateway-heavy style. Oreo hasn't quite been able to see what tech Nice is going for yet. So he's just covering all his bases. I like it.
Yeah, like he hasn't seen the main base at all. There's been 0 scouting, which is a little bit worrisome. But thankfully, because he's going into Hydras, like he's going to be fine against this double Stargate play. He's making a lot of assumptions, and he's assuming correctly here. You can definitely hit a very strong timing. We can see that it's a timing based off of just Hydra upgrades. It's not like he's going to hit like a +1 timing or anything. There are no Evos.
Yeah, and he doesn't intend to get an Evo either. If he's not able to at least cripple Nice with this push, then I very much worry for him as the game continues.
Yeah, and this is going to be really difficult to break, right? There are plenty of shield batteries and cannons. Nice is turtling up hard, and he's like bracing himself for impact. Because again, Oreo, he's on 3 bases. He never got a 4th. Like, this is going to be a very strong attack, and it has to, as you said, it has to at least kill the 3rd.
Absolutely. He's even warping a ton of sentries now, getting the stasis wards in. Do you think it's worth it now for Oreo to just, I don't know, go for the natural?
I kind of do. But Nice, he hallucinated scouts. He confirms there's no 4th base. It's an all-in. Oh, God. Hopefully the stasis ward doesn't get a juicy connection. It needs to be baited out. Oh, my God. The queens. Oh, God.
Oh, they're so clumped up. Wait, right at the last second. They do not. There's no overseer here. Thankfully, the Zerglings are able to sort of bait out the stasis ward. No really important unit gets caught. A couple of these Void Rays are getting isolated.
Yeah, and the sentries, they're all going to get taken out.
That they are no more force fields available. The rest of the Banelings are just going to soften up some of these buildings. The Void Rays, as they start to pop off and try to defend the 3rd base, they just fall immediately to the Queens. And there's still plenty of Queen energy left. Like,
yeah, and Overcharge was already wasted. All these shield batteries are out of energy. This 3rd base is at least going down. The Baneling connections was so important in all of this, as well as the fact that the Stasis Ward did nothing and every single Void Ray goes down.
GG is called. Oreo takes game number 1. Honestly, I'm really surprised that Oreo took it then and there, if I'm being honest. Look at the amount, if we look back to the replay, look at all those shield batteries in position, right? The sentry's such a choke point that he was forcing using those force fields. But Oreo somehow did it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where those Banelings were the MVP. The force fields initially were great, but the Banelings still waddled around and they still made it into the juicy core of that Protoss defense. I don't know if maybe Nice underestimated the effectiveness of those Banelings, because I do think that he still had energy left on those sentries, but he didn't fully wall off. There was still a way in, and those Banelings, they found their way and they detonated all over the Protoss.
Absolutely. That, or, you know, a little preoccupied trying to micro those Void Rays back into shield battery range. I actually didn't notice battery overcharge, but then I clicked on the Nexus and I was like, yeah, it's on cooldown. So I guess he just popped it a little prematurely.
Yeah, it was very early on. Where he popped that overcharge. So yeah, maybe not the ideal position for that. Regardless, I'm just impressed because again, we were talking about it and we saw it. Nice, he was getting ready for the attack. He knew it was coming 100%, and we saw he was taking it very seriously with his cannons, with his shield batteries, with his position, his sentries. Like, he was ready, and despite that, Oreo still pulled it off.
Oreo doesn't care. He makes his opponents go uh-oh, and nice. He went uh-oh. He went but he did go oh.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a crucial part of all of that. So, wow, Oreo is leading the series, and this is impressive because again, Nice is a very strong Protoss player amongst the foreign Protosses, even amongst the Koreans. Like he time and time again, he's made it to the semifinals of these weeklies, sometimes even further. Like, damn.
He's taken it to the likes of Creator and Parting multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, exactly, and that can happen, especially in this matchup when okay.
You're gonna represent the CranKy Ducklings for us, like
yeah. I'll rejoin. God damn it.
Here's your invite.
We're good. But I was about to say that like, Nice can get really scary, especially when you allow him to get into the late game. You were talking about it, right? Like, if he gets into the late game and if he gets into that Skytoss army, like, it's terrifying. Ooh, but Oreo was able to stop that from happening on Blackburn, which, to be fair, is one of the easier maps to pull off those all-ins on. But what about a map like Oxide?
Considerably less easy.
True.
And that's all I got for analysis. I'll see you next week as we continue our series here on Oxide LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, so I'm going to go all the way to the top right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming out for the land of Taiwan. He is the co-ruler of Taiwan, if you want to call it that. At this point, him and Haas really are the number ones in Taiwan at the moment. He is going to be representing Good Game Gaming. GGG! He is. Nice.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, as I ask you to, just in case, check the audio settings, check the mic boost. Spawning in the bottom left, we have the Australian Zerg player. He is blue, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Oreo. Currently up in this series, mate.
Mate. After staying up to play names at Champs yesterday, I mean, he was even telling us that he felt like he underperformed yesterday because he was just feeling ill for some reason.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
and then waking up early today to get a vaccine.
Unfortunately, he was suffering from a bit of a headache yesterday, and that did affect his play, which it does feel bad. Thankfully, like, it is a round robin group, and you know, one loss isn't the biggest of deals.
He's still at the top of that group.
Yeah, he's still at the top. He could have been further in the top, but you know, regardless, still a very, very respectable placement.
Yeah.
And wow, like, I honestly was a little bit concerned, but I'm very happy to see that Oreo is already leading this series. Even if he does get taken out here, I'm very happy with his performance, and I hope he is as well. Again, Nice, one of the best players in his own region.
I'm just glad we got to catch him today.
Same. You know,
if only Starduck, they have been saying, you know, I feel like we're going to play in a lot more weekly events, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say that. You know, at least one of the players is here in this weekly, and one of them is able to keep their word. Unlike some other CranKy Duckling members. Aries.
I was going to say...
Oh, god damn. As we are getting into this game, fun fact, Aries was actually casting last night. He was casting
he was. Yeah. The Taiwan Malaysia friendly.
Was. Thailand,
yes, not Different countries.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, God.
But yeah, just speaking of getting into the swing of things, that's just what our players are doing right now. No major deviance from the last game. Nice, still going Void Ray. I'm assuming Oracle after this, and then some more Void Rays. He had a really good defensive setup on Blackburn, but as you were saying, Blackburn is just kind of a map that favors the aggressor no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think that was the best case scenario for Oreo. On a map like Oxide, I have seen him attempt to do queen pushes before on this map against Stardock. It is significantly harder, the rush distance is much longer, and there are these choke points as well. There's the high ground at the natural. It can be difficult to execute. Not impossible by any means, but difficult. And, oh, interesting choice of a third base location here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Nice knows that as well. That's hard to push on Oxide, so he feels like he doesn't really need to switch things up too much, but that's a much earlier third base for him, and in a bit of a more aggressive position too. Like, what?
Yeah, and what's important as well is that the location of this third base is further away, like creep-wise. Like this creep, it's so close here to the one on the high ground, so again, like pushes can hit earlier, but this one, like, it's gonna be so awkward. Especially with how Oreo expanded.
Exactly. It's like technically closer, but it's still going to take a longer while to get there because, you know, it goes around.
Yeah, I imagine that part of the decision making from Nice, as we do see a stasis ward, and it looks like, oh, it will only get one drone once again. Nice reaction by Oreo. But if Oreo had expanded horizontally, then the creep spread would be closer in line with this third, right? But because of the location, because of the triangular third, Nice went for a different expansion, and because of that, he's going to be a little bit safer.
What a big brain. So adaptable.
Oh god, exactly. Yeah, and unlike the previous game, like, I do think that we want to see a push, right? Like, Roaches are already on the way.
That they are. This is another consideration for Oreo here. You know, it's going to take a little bit longer to get across the map, so can't really waste time trying to get a Hydra Den and a Baneling Nest out. Roach Ravager, hit as hard and as fast as you can.
Exactly. Meanwhile, 5 drones went down to that Oracle. It did give up its life for it, but I do think it was probably worth it. He got an eye on the timing of the lair as well. We do see defenses are on the way. Oh my god. But Oreo, he's going now.
A whole lot of them. That he is, and it's also a little bit more awkward to defend on that open base, on that open third. There are 2 fronts you pretty much have to wall off, compared to the other third base where it's 1 opening. And now Nice, he realizes that. He's trying to cover both fronts.
Yeah, that he is, and ooh, these Void Rays are taking a lot of damage before that happens. And also, Oreo can make a decision. If he wants to, sure, he can go for the third, which has all this static defense, or he could go to the natural.
Which is about to get some static defense, but because Nice isn't concentrating his defenses, it should be enough. Oreo should have enough to just about barely break through and then send in some reinforcements. And from there, what does Nice really do? These Void Rays are now isolated.
That they are, and they're taking a lot of damage. You just see a couple of biles, and they are going to connect with the cannons, but ooh, they're not going to be enough to take the cannon out. Not yet.
But soon. Oreo saving a couple of biles for force fields, but now the sentry's out of energy, and there's only one. The cannons are starting to go down. Void Rays take a couple of biles, but not enough to really kill them. It is enough to soften up the blow, though.
Yeah, that it is. The biles are trying to connect. It looks like the gateway is going to fall. Now the links can flood in. Overcharge was already used, but mate, the overcharge is about to run out.
Just like so, and the Queens are still alive. Running out of energy, though. The Lings are starting to get body blocked by the Queens. No, but they do manage to slip on in. Not getting too much economic damage. I mean, Oreo, Nice rather, has lost some cannons and lost a gateway, but if he's able to live, then that is negligible. Those are negligible losses.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the pylon, get the pylon! Oh my god! Oh, I guess it doesn't matter because there's a backup pylon regardless. The Queens are running out of steam, and so the Lings instead flood into the main base, getting even more worker kills. I say even more, I don't think they got a single one.
They didn't, no. They maybe got one. They may be able to power the Stargates at least, but what is that really going to do in the grand scheme of things? Oreo continuing to try to reinforce this, but now he's realized this push has sort of run out of steam.
Yeah.
Damage has not been dealt yet. I need to take a step back. I need to tech up and expand. And I fear that it might be too late for him. He got 2 probes throughout all of this light.
Yeah.
And a couple of pylons, but here come more lings!
Oh, he gets
a run by!
Oh my god. Yeah, but the overcharge is just on point, even though the Immortal got surrounded. Oh my god, it is in fact Immortal. It does not die, and Oreo was so close to breaking ice, by the way. Like, the way that the fight happened here at the Natural, it was a little bit of a shame that, again, there was a lot of body blocking for quite a long time. Like, 10 seconds of body blocking doesn't sound like a lot, but in StarCraft, it is meaningful.
It really can be. That's 10 seconds that your opponent has to reposition their forces, and I mean, it feels like Oreo had barely enough anti-air if he, hit his transfuses perfectly and if he was able to land a couple of biles too, but all Nice really needed to do was avoid that for a little bit,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oreo didn't have an overwhelming amount of anti-air.
Oreo is attempting to transition though. Again, his economy isn't great, and oh god, the Void Rays are trying to overpower all of these queens. Unfortunately, the transfuses just were not there.
Yeah, a couple of them below. Oreo, you need to target fire! It's not gonna be enough. GG's called, and Nice ties up that series sideways 1-1. That's why you want to defend an Oxide.
GG. And yeah, that is the power of Oxide. Like, again, it is one of the more defensible maps there, so Nice had that advantage. It was just enough there. And now we're going to the ace match, and again, based off of these first 2 games, like, we see how important these maps can be here. Like what is the ace map going to be?
Beckett. It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be.
Ooh, I
was right.
It's just been revealed, mate. It's in fact going to be Jagannatha.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Very interesting decision. I feel like this is a double-edged sword, we talk about this a lot. This is a very good map for Skytoss, but it also has speed zones.
That it does. PvZs on Jagannatha are knife fights. As you said, that double-edged sword, if the Zerg player is able to utilize those speed zones, get a creep highway, and hit as quickly as possible, the Protoss player is going to be caught mid-transition. But if the Protoss player is able to survive that push, there's not a whole lot the Zerg player can do to reinforce. Or it's going to be difficult for the Zerg player to reinforce, should I say, even with the creep threat. And that's a probe going across the map. Alright, then let's make this quick as we spawn into Jagannatha. KBBLE in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the King of Taiwan, co-ruling next to El Presidente. He is coming out for the land of Taiwan. The Red Protoss player representing Good Game Gaming. GGG. He is quite pleasant. He is nice.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Australian Zerg player. He is blue, representing the CranKy Ducklings, making his opponents go, uh-oh, it is Oreo.
The King of Brisbane.
Oh, that he is. For the past year, he has held that title, held that throne, and is it good enough to take down one of the best, arguably the best, in Taiwan? Oh, he's so close. So far, pretty standard opener, but he was forced to take the unnatural base, which has some cons to it, but at the same time, it is also a very nice launch pad for that creep.
I love that phrase, a launch pad, because yeah, it's very fitting on Jagannatha as well. Once you get into that speed zone, it's really time to go.
Yeah, I don't want to take credit for that. Fun fact, the player who coined that phrase for Zerg specifically, like the creep launch pad, was Snoot back in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah,
he emphasized that quite a bit back in the day. Obviously, a different meta, a different time in StarCraft, but yeah. Bit of a shout out to Snoot there. DDR King, Kappa. Oh
Try
god.
to dig through my archives and try to remember which meta that was specifically.
Mm, mm.
I guess it could be any of them really.
Ah.
Probably wasn't Swarm Host era.
That was his era, though. That was his era.
It was, because he was just so patient.
He was. He was. Mate, he was one of the foreign hopes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, depending on, you know.
Games could go on for
They did.
And they did.
They did. They did go on for hours. Games, mate. Series, forget about it. Oh, God. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Once again, Stargate opener, Shalkara, right? This is what we expect to see from Nice. Obviously, he can kind of like turn things on their heads and go for a Twilight Council at some point, so you still need to be on point with your scouting. But so far, it is pretty standard.
Yeah. I was a little bit excited when Nice sent out the probe immediately, but turns out it was just a scouting probe. No proxies going on anywhere.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Meanwhile, that creep is slowly being spread here. Oh.
Actually going to be an Oracle first coming out from Nice.
Yeah. Gonna be prioritizing that damage. We did see last game, the first Oracle did kill 5 drones, so that was insane. We'll see if he can maybe replicate that. I know Oreo is one of those players who wants to be greedy and wants to rely a lot on queens and less so on spores to defend. Oh.
Yeah, Nice may have just about realized that after 2 games. He is going for the double Oracle, yes! I was gonna say, despite going for an Oracle, a single Oracle in the past 2 games, going Oracle first can really give you a whole bunch of different options, right? Void Ray Oracle, you're kind of resigning yourself to only having 1 Oracle for the rest of the game.
Exactly.
Oracle first, though. You can do anything.
Like, this is scary, because this Oracle is taking a lot of damage. Well, there is a Spore at the 3rd, so he has to be careful. But again, like, Oreo, he's relying on Queens to defend early on, and once you throw in a 2nd Oracle, they can one-shot drones, and they can just suicide into a mineral line and get a lot of damage done and abuse the fact that Oreo is being greedy.
They absolutely can. Plus, it doesn't matter that this Oracle took a lot of damage. It's not going to get targeted if Nice is careful.
Yeah, exactly. He's able to regen those shields as well. Meanwhile, Oreo is active with his links. He confirms that a 3rd base is on the way here for Nice, but still was unable to see that 2nd Oracle. Not yet. And mate, those Oracles, they're going in. We have a 3rd Oracle!
Damage. Oh, 3rd Oracle after first Void Ray! You'll have to see it. Nice, playing a bit like Pez here.
Jesus Christ, and just like that, we even have a couple of depths here at the 3rd base. No, there are no links to help defend. They were out of position and more drones are going down.
Mate, Oreo finally started to get punished for his greed.
Yeah, exactly. We do see 10 more drones on the way, so Oreo is looking to replace them, and he's not going for an early push. Lair's on the way, so he wants to work on those upgrades. Evo Chamber is on the way as well.
+1 push wouldn't be a terrible idea, but at the same time, Nice is getting double Robo.
Oh god, double Robo's on the way, which I believe hasn't been scouted. Not yet, there isn't an Overlord going in, but now in come 3 Oracles, and now we can focus down the Queens!
Just like so.
Hey.
These Oracles aren't taking much damage, by the way. Nothing significant either. Oreo started to lose a ton of drones. He wanted to wait for his lair, he wanted to wait for +1, but now he's going to be forced all in.
Exactly, there was no Spore here at the natural either, so 16 drones, an entire mineral line goes down, and that is devastating damage. Now that should force either Oreo all in, or Oreo all in.
But there's a 3rd option you're not considering here, Light. He could also go all in.
He really could, and now, like, his hand has been forced. He's got to go across the map with his queens. He's got roaches on the way, and the problem is that, sure, like, these queens are going to do well against these Oracles, but you were talking about it, double Robo production. We're going to have 2 Immortals out with the power of shield batteries.
We really are. They happen to do pretty well against roaches, I'm told.
Just a little bit.
Haven't been able to confirm that for myself, but...
Yeah.
Plenty of sentries here, lots of force fields, a couple of them getting whiffed. But there's not a whole ton of Ravagers here for Oreo either. Nice knows he can afford to whiff a couple if it means that he can isolate some key units, like some of these queens. High entry queens, even.
Exactly, just like that, he does isolate them. The force fields go down. 2 queens immediately fall, and now in come those immortals. You do have a couple of links sneaking into the base, but oh my god, there were oracles waiting for them. They're gonna get cleaned up, and now Oreo's army, like, he's trying to go for a wraparound.
But he can't quite find it. Nice is dealing with this push, and GG is called. Nice takes that series 2-1. Nicely done.
Oh, GG. Well played. Ay, ay, ay. Ah, God, that was a rough game, number 3 there. But yeah. God, I'm so proud of Oreo, especially after game 1. Even game 2 was very close. Like game 2, he almost broke Nice. Almost.
Like, you just need to target fire better. Feel.
Yeah, maybe.
And I guess not body block. A couple other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very, very close. And honestly, a very impressive series immediately after getting that vaccine as well.
Yeah, very impressive series regardless. Congratulations to Nice as he does move on in the bracket. And I hope Oreo isn't feeling too bad about his performance here, because honestly, I think that he did well, especially, again, considering that Nice is top 2 in his region, like sometimes first, sometimes second. So that was a very good showing there by Oreo.
It absolutely was.